BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed, what the heck was all that about? Welcome to episode 611 of BRB UK. I tell you what, I go away for 1 week. 1 week I go away, and look what happens, Coleman. Look what happens.
We killed
madness
Tim.
has happened.
He's
There
dead.
has been an international case of electile dysfunction. See what I did there? That's what happened.
Very good.
Electile
Very good.
dysfunction. It's what you get with a 79-year-old man who looks like he's been dipped in Cheeto dust. Jesus Christ. What a week. What a week. What a week. But at least we got video games to talk about. We like video games.
You missed a very odd show.
I hear.
We had, so to sub in for you, we had a lot of games to talk about. We called in the man called Rick. We called in There Goes Kev.
Right.
And, we had Tim.
What do you reckon like Arkham Knight VR? It was right tasty.
It was apparently really good.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a long show, and there was a lot of editing, and there was some technical issues and stuff, and it was all very fun. But I think it came out all right. I think. We haven't had any
I thought it
complaints.
came out all right. I mean, bearing in mind that, if you get those two, I mean, VRB is bad enough with those two on it. And if you introduce a third person, they just get far too excited. It's dreadful.
So you have 4 people in the mix, and
Right.
that spells trouble for you at Survivor series. Samoa Joe. I forget the quote. Steiner maths.
It's the way you tell them, Coleman. The way you tell them. But
I
I'm
thought
glad
so.
I am glad to be back. And apologies for missing last week, ladies, gents, and everyone else. It's
Did you sell your house?
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, I know Sarah's just said, bring the fun, Dan. I'm going to talk to you about mortgages and being a grown-up adult. I had to arrange a mortgage because I thought, do you know what?
Ooh.
Looks like Trump might get in. Looks like everywhere in the universe is about to self-immolate. So I think I'll have a nice low mortgage rate, please. Thank you very much. That's what I was doing last week. That's the amount of fun I was having. Puts it into perspective that I would have rather have listened to Tim live droning on about VR for 3 hours, but I had to go and talk about mortgages instead. So there we go. That is the pantheon of levels of interesting. Mortgage broker talk is down here and slightly edged out in the interesting-o-meter by Tim talking about menus in VR.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, Tim tuckered himself out of all his talking last week, so he's
bless
taken this
him.
week off. Yeah.
Is he? Have you tucked him up in his little cardboard box? He's now in the attic. There with a little VR helmet on.
Sure. But I, on the other hand, I decided to celebrate our massive talking last week and the amount of editing that I had to do for tech issues by playing a little game called Windblown.
I
know
played
this is
that as
one that-
well, Coleman.
I know you have done.
We haven't played it together yet, though.
No, we should do that. Yes. I don't know. Well, all right. So let's get into it because Windblown,
Okay.
it's out in early access right now. You can get it on PC. It's $21.99. I believe there's a discount at the moment if you get it early.
Mm-hmm.
It's from the creators of Dead Cells.
Motion Twin.
Yeah, similar kind of gameplay. Where that was a kind of 2D Castlevania mixed with a Souls-like or a Soulsborne. This is a 3D 1 to 3 player kind of roguelike.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got roguelike elements in it. I mean, it's kind of, you can feel the DNA, I think, of Dead Cells in it, in some of the writing, some of the way they're doing things in terms of the way the weapons you get and like the incremental upgrades with the run. But it kind of almost feels like the love child of Dead Cells and Hades to me. So that's the kind of feel I get. It's got that very kind of quick twitch gameplay that Hades is kind of known for, with like kind of hyper motiony dodging, for want of a better way of putting it, but with the kind of quite deceptively deep roguelike mechanics that Dead Cells has. And I think that's one of the things that's really impressed me with Windblown. I mean, it is very obviously early access. I mean, a lot of the core mechanics are there, but there's a certain amount of spit and polish that is yet to go in there. Certainly kind of like the UI elements don't quite seem there yet, but stripping all that back, at its core, there's a really, really deep kind of combat system there. And you just think when you start off, oh, I've got 2 weapons. How interesting can it get? But actually, it layers in as you start getting more and more clears, new mechanics like the alter attack mechanic, which is great. So, like, there are some weapons I found that felt a bit tedious, like the backstabby one. I didn't get on particularly well with. But
That looks like something you develop the skill for as you go along.
yeah, absolutely. And then what it does is it allows you to embrace like a primary weapon that you use to build up charges into your ultra attack, and then you can use your other weapon, which may be fairly weak in its standard form, but using its powered up attack can really deal some massive damage. And that little bits like that are really, really cool. I find that little secret mechanics they layer in, and I mean, it does feel. I mean, I think what we're going to see is a lot more variation in the levels going forward, because it feels. No, there's not a lot of variety run to run in terms of the level layout at the moment. It's more kind of the monsters that are getting randomized, but there is definitely a great roguelike at the core of this, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. So how far have you got along your Windblown journey, Coleman?
Well, I had a look because the other day, when I picked this up, I missed that it had come out. I think I'd mixed it up with a different game, so when I got the announcement, I was like, all right, we're fine. And then I saw it was actually this game, got super excited, picked it up, got it ready. Been playing it on the Steam Deck.
I've been playing it on the Massive Dick as well.
It's good. It works surprisingly well on the Steam Deck. Once I started playing it and it's going through the opening scenes and stuff, it seemed to chug a little bit, but once it gets into the gameplay, everything's smoothed out. And I know we're on different Steam Decks. You've got the OLED, which is a bit more powerful, so you might have a difference to me there. But on the OG Steam Deck, I was having a little bit of teething issue, but it seems to have fixed itself. I'm not that far into it. I'm only like an hour or so in total, but I had like a whole issue. And once again, it is worth mentioning this is an early access because I've been playing this on the go. I've been playing it on my commute, and then I've been playing it when I get home and carrying on and really enjoying it. And then I got to a point where the whole thing just absolutely crapped the bed and started the whole thing all over again. So so I had a little run going with what was it, a pangolin, which I thought was very funny. And then on my second run, I'm playing as the what was it, the early leaper reward. It's basically a chameleon.
Oh yeah, I've picked him as well. I secretly wish I was an axolotl. There's a sentence for you.
Yeah, I mean, you do get to a point where one of the characters allows you to swap into different bodies, so you can chop and change as you please. I had a go at some online. I think this is what killed mine as well. So I jumped into online with some randos, and I don't know if it was my connection, but I was having a lot of problems with it. Like I'd be leaping about, and then all of a sudden it would kind of transport me back to where everyone was, but then I'd be frozen for a while they moved on, and then it would kind of freeze me back to them, and then gameplay would be okay, and then the other ones would just suddenly disappear, and then one would come back. So it was all very kind of connection-y issues that were causing a lot of problems there. I just don't know if it was mine, theirs, or the game that was having the problem.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, there are bits where obviously there's a little bit more work needed, but this is still a pretty solid outing. And the kind of, I think what you can tell with games in early access is if the core of the game is good and is worth coming back to. And it's definitely got that just one more go element to it that I think Dead Cells absolutely had as well. Where it feels like there's
more so than Dead Cells. Sorry to jump in. I was getting very big Hades vibes out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the kind of the mechanics of it, and to a lesser degree the art style, kind of evokes that as well. I mean, I think that it hasn't quite yet got the kind of deep overarching story that Hades has, and I think Dead Cells had it to a degree, but I think that's probably going to come in a bit later with Windblown. I kind of like what they're doing. Like there's a mysterious world that's kind of you're clearly navigating a world in which kind of this hyper, hyper advanced civilization used to be, and it's all fallen to rack and ruin, and you're exploring that and trying to understand the world around you. So I think there's some really cool stuff there. But I think that's probably gonna be built out a bit more. It's kind of really there feels like they're getting the balance of stuff right first. I mean, I haven't given multiplayer a go, but it is meant to be great with multiplayer. That it does
Okay.
kind of transform the game and how you approach encounters. Because I have to say, in single player, I do find it. You mess up once and you're toast. Pretty much, it can be pretty. And even some of that, I mean, it might just be in Rygo's probably just talking to himself, going, "That's because you're rubbish, Dan." But even some of like the early enemies you encounter, like those stabby, jumpy ones, they annoy the crap out of me. You can, if you just mistime a dodge or you mistime an attack, you can end up kind of having a run end pretty quickly. But I think I'm still discovering the mechanics. Like if you time dodges right, that appears to kind of have benefits as well. You know, you learn about the tactics of queuing up a critical strike and stuff like that. So I think there's loads to discover with this game. And I love the fact that if you do a little bit of exploring in each run, you can discover shops or additional collectibles. So I love the way they've kind of peppered some secret stuff in. And there's that hint of almost like the Metroidvania aspects as well that Dead Cells did really well. Well, there's kind of clearly once you level up certain powers or acquire certain powers, additional paths become available to you and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm really enjoying my time with Windblown. I think it's good fun times. That game, good fun times. Also, good fun times.
Although I'm a bit annoyed because this game actually came out this year, which is in your ones to watch, which means it's the only game in our ones to watch. I'm the only one in the one to watch lot that picked something that didn't come out.
Well, technically it's early access, so we can both be winners if you want, Coleman.
It still counts. Look, I'm still waiting on Scalebound.
If it makes you feel better, one of my ones to watch was Skull and Bones for comedy value.
Yes. And I played that. It was fine. It was fine.
Was it fine? I'm not sure it was as good as fine.
Fine game, Dan. I pillaged, I plundered my little piratey guts out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Good for you, I guess. I mean, I played the alpha or the beta rather, and frankly, that's an hour of my life I'm never getting back.
Let's all go play a Sea of Thieves, or let's all go play Windblown. Do you think we can convince Tim to get into Windblown?
Because it is I think sadly the sale has finished. It's now listed as $21.99 on Steam, but yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely worth getting in on the ground floor. I'd imagine the price, like most things, is likely to go up the closer we get to release. But yeah, there is plenty of fun to be had, or I've certainly found there's plenty of fun to be had, and I really want to give kind of the multiplayer side of things a go because I think that is gonna kind of, certainly with some of the boss fights, unlock some really cool combos and stuff like that. So
I'll tell you what, if you're not doing anything tomorrow evening, we'll carve out some Windblown multiplayer time.
Blow my wind, mate. Blow it.
Yeah.
Blow it.
And then we'll play this game. Yay!
But I mean, it's just I mean, one thing I really appreciate as well, I'm not sure how much, if you've been commuting, I'm not sure if you've been playing with kind of sound off or headphones in or what, but it's got a great soundtrack to it as well. Soundtrack.
This is, I mean, it's one that I started playing with the sound and went, oh yeah, I kind of dig this. And then I kind of got to the point and went, all right, I got it. I'm kind of repeating the same level at this point, so I don't really need the soundtrack that much. It was one that I was listening with podcasts and things. But this is kind of kicked away my current game that I've been using for my commutes at the moment. Because after really getting into Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and not having enough time to play that game because it being an at-home console game, I ended up picking up was it Dragon Ball Kakarot on the Steam Deck. One, because this is a game I tried in. I might as well just give it a little preview now.
Give it a little preview. Slap me up with it.
I played this in preview ages and ages ago and was kind of like, I don't really get it, but I'll come back to this at some point, I'm sure. Ended up picking it on PS4 on super cheap. That got ported to PS5. Still had yet to play it. And then I heard some people really raving about this game, considering when it first came out, it was kind of put down as it's fine, but it's meh. It's a meh game, but it's really improved over time. And then I looked up online. I was like, well, how much are they selling it for on Steam? Oh, they're selling it for full price. And then I went on CD Keys. I was like, yeah, but you could get the Ultimate Edition with all the DLC and everything for 20 whole English pounds.
Wow.
So I picked up
now,
that.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't catch which flavor of Dragon Ball Z game this was. So which one?
This
which
is an RPG. It's an RPG called Dragon Ball Kakarot.
Kakarot,
and
I have found it.
It's from the creators of Azura's Wrath, which means...
Oh, okay.
It's got amazing cutscenes to it. And when I was playing Sparking Zero, this happens from time to time. I'll get really into a Dragon Ball game, and then I'll go, I wonder if I should just rewatch Dragon Ball again. And I was starting to get that itch. You haven't got a month of your
life anymore to devote to that.
Well, the thing is, there's like 3 new shows since I've been watching, and so I was like, well, maybe I'll catch up and try again. And I was thinking of rewatching Dragon Ball Z, but playing Dragon Ball Kakarot, it is Dragon Ball Z, and it just catches you up quicker than Dragon Ball Z Kai. So, and the cutscenes are really nice. But yeah, that's a random game. If you can find that on the cheap, and you can get it on your Steam Deck, I recommend that because I've been having a lot of fun with that.
One thing I'm just interested about, you haven't played that, because I'd imagine obviously the combat and the story presentation sounds pretty awesome, but does the RPG stuff feel a bit tacked on as a result, or does it feel pretty cohesive?
No, it's like a not incredibly in-depth RPG, but it would be the same as... so I used to play a lot of mobile phone RPGs once smartphones started becoming bigger, and it found them as like a great kind of time waster on the tube and stuff. And then sticking this on the Steam Deck, it's one of those for me. It just happens to have amazing cutscenes and soundtrack and voice acting and things, and a lot of fan service. And yeah, it does a lot of kind of crossover stuff between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z that you don't see in the actual cartoon. So yeah, I don't know. Randomly throw that in. I wasn't intending to talk about it today, but
you just did anyway.
Well, it was my commute game, and now this has overtaken my commute game, and I hope I can go back to it because I've got a tendency to start playing the new shiny thing and leave the old one aside. Hence why
I think
still
that's
haven't
probably
finished Death Stranding.
Kind of, universal to a lot of you. I need to start playing Death Stranding. I've got the director's cut of it queued up and good to go. It's kind of like. Do I want to go down the rabbit hole of a full-on Kojima narrative? Have I got time in my life to deal with that?
You have to do it before Death Stranding 2, Dan. You have to do it before Death Stranding 2.
And that looks even more bonkers, I have to say.
It's got a puppet man.
I know. I kind of seeing all the stuff around Metal Gear Solid Delta made me think, that was like, that was some good Hideo Kojima crazy back then. I'd really like to give Death Stranding a go as a result. So, and Jamie said he platinumed Death Stranding at the start of the year. I recommend you don't do that. I shan't do that. I shall play it on my Steam Deck, and I won't feel chained to the yoke of meaningless shiny things in the form of trophies or achievements.
There is a thing that happens in Death Stranding that I've been dying to talk about since the PlayStation 4 when I was playing that version of it. And I've played 2 other versions since then, and I haven't done it because I know that a lot of people will be late to the start when it comes to Death Stranding and picking it up. And because when it did come out, there was a lot of, it's just walking. And when you finally get, and it's not, it's a Strand game, Dan. It's the first Strand game. It's a stroll playing game, Dan.
Sometimes I think the problem is I have sometimes with Hideo Kojima, it's just like, sometimes you do feel like he needs a responsible adult in the room because there is just can get very odd and borderline pervy with him sometimes. It's like, dude, seriously, just chill. But I don't know. I can't. Yeah. How far in is the thing you desperately want to tell me about?
Towards the end.
Damn it. All right.
Yeah.
See you in a couple of months.
Yeah. But if you are one of those people that haven't picked up Death Stranding and you have been looking for an excuse to play it, then, and especially if you're an Xbox owner, then you might be excited to find out that the game got stealth dropped today on N7 Day. But this got Yeah, we got a random announcement. They just put out a tweet and said, "Hey, surprise! Death Stranding is now available on the Xbox Series X and S," which officially, I guess, cements that they've broken away from PlayStation now, because this was a PlayStation timed exclusive, and that timed exclusive lasted for, what was that, 2-3 years?
2-3,
Yeah. So this initially came out on PS4. It was followed by a port on the PS5 for the director's cut on PC, and randomly an iOS port, which I think came out, was it this year or last year?
I think it's this year, I think.
Yeah, which by all kind of reports I've heard, runs very well, but will eat up your battery and make your phone hot. But yeah, you can pick up it's the director's cut edition of the game, which has the enhanced graphic options, the gameplay changes, new content, including new weapons and things that are in the game. And
more walking.
More walking, more
Love
robot
it.
leg
love some walking.
additions. It's a very good game. And when I finally do bite the bullet and go and finish, because I've got the last level queued up on Cyberpunk, I just don't want to finish it, because then it will be over, because I've done all the side stuff already. But when I do finish Cyberpunk, I'm jumping straight back into Death Stranding to go over that and mop it up, because I really like that game. And now you can play it too. I do know that I do realize that when you announce that something's coming to Xbox Series X and S, though, there are a very large majority of people that will go, well, let's wait till it hits Game Pass then. So
I can't
but
see
if
this
you want to pick
hitting
it up,
Game Pass anytime soon.
I can, but 50% off if you want to pick that up on Xbox. Not a bad shout. What are you typing?
I am just double checking.
You're writing your thesis.
I was just double checking. I do have the key that I thought I had for Death Stranding, and I do.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have that. I'm having it.
All right.
What I'm doing.
I have this on Steam Deck as well.
Oh, how does it run on a massive deck?
Loud.
It runs loud. One frame a second and loud.
Oh, apparently the PC version was on Game Pass at one point, according to Jamie.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's hope yet. For those of you who want to get your Hideo Kojima weirdness on.
Love that game. All right, moving on. So it's been a little while since we've spoken about Grand Theft Auto 6. There's a lot of conversation of it coming up again because of, I don't know if you know this, Dan, but there's been a release of a brand new version of the PlayStation 5 Pro, which a lot of people think the release is, it might be geared towards the likes of Grand Theft Auto 6 coming next year. But is it coming next year? Yes,
God
it is,
knows.
apparently.
It'll be ready when it's ready, is the feeling I get.
Well, there is a long history of Grand Theft Auto games being announced to come out one date and then being pushed back a little while for bug fixing, stability, that kind of stuff. But this week, there was a investment call for Take-Two Interactive. And one of the big things that was on the conversational chopping block was the release date for Grand Theft Auto 6, which they spoke about, is definitely on track for the end of the year 2025. So that's nice. They also did speak about, they spoke about, first of all, the failure of the Borderlands movie and said that they don't feel it's tarnished the release of Borderlands 4. In fact, it may have actually helped it.
Right.
I know upon the release of that film, they very quickly announced Borderlands 4 with not very much to show about it other than a very quick teaser, because they needed to go, don't look over there, look over here.
Look here.
It's one of my magic
great.
tricks.
It's all good.
So that's that, and Mafia: The Old Country. They're still set to be released during the company's fiscal 2026, which falls in between April 1st, 2025 and March 31st, 2026. There were other titles that were named as well, but without being given a specific release date. For instance, CSR Racing 3 and Judas. Are you excited about?
To be seen with? Who's Judas, isn't it?
I got it.
Yeah, I got just it. Wasn't funny. I hear you. I'm with you. It's fine.
I was trying to think of a joke and couldn't think of one.
But no, I mean, we all know Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to go gangbusters. I think it's, probably it's obviously going to be optimized for the PS5 Pro. Just based on the footage they've released, I think it's going to be a very demanding game in terms of hardware. I think even on PC, you're going to have to throw some pretty chunky hardware at it to get it at a stable 60 frames a second. Yeah, I think it probably heralds the release of the PS6 and whatever the next Xbox is going to be in mid 2026, and it's going to be a big vehicle for getting people to upgrade. Is my personal
We just
view.
know whenever this game comes out, it will then be stretched across the next 3 generations of console.
Absolutely, it's going to see us all the way through to the PS8. Is what it's going to see us through to.
I wonder what this means for Grand Theft Auto Online, because that still makes a lot of revenue for Take-Two. And I know Grand Theft Auto Online Grand Theft Auto 4 Online or 5 Online. No, it was 4, sorry. 4 Online, that it didn't do as well as it probably should. I know Red Dead Redemption Online did very, very well. And then GTA Online did even better than that because microtransactions. And then the release of Red Dead Redemption 2 Online did not do so well. In fact, it's now they've announced the death knell in that service. So I'm wondering, does this just mean we're going to get an even bigger and better GTA Online? Are we going to get some some in-game monetization ported forward to the new service? Are they just going to kill it off outright and start again? I wonder what happens.
I think there'll probably be a way. There'll be like kind of a hey, help your character can move from one locale to the next. I think
no. Character creation in that is awful.
Yeah. I'd imagine there'll be a way like your character could jump on the plane and you transfer them over. I can't see them making it one big shared universe between the two games. I think there's probably going to be enough different mechanics where you just go, right, you can port your character, but then you're done, I'm guessing.
I imagine they just do a Destiny, they shut off the service and go, if you play GTA Online, then here's a badge to say you did it.
Well done. Have a biscuit.
Have a biscuit. I'll have a biscuit.
Have a biscuit.
I'll have a biscuit.
I mean, I think it's going to, we all know it's going to do silly money and do ridiculously well.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love a GTA release.
I do have quite fond memories of the original GTA Online just kind of goofing about doing really dumb crap. It's quite good fun.
My first Extra Life experience did with friend of the show, Neil.
Me.
We did the 24 hours in Los Santos was the idea, where we just played GTA Online for 24 hours shortly after launch on PlayStation 3. Buggy, not a lot of features. Like it was a very bare bones GTA that we did spend 24 hours in and slowly went insane playing.
Yeah, that sounds rough. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I think that's the thing that will make me upgrade to a higher setup, be that PC or a new console variant of some kind, because I can imagine that there's some kind of struggles with the current generation of stuff after playing some things that should have probably been better optimized. What's got you more excited, Dan? Are you excited for the PlayStation 5 Pro? Are you excited for the announcement of the Switch successor next year? Or the new RTXs that are going to be announced at the next CES?
Probably going to be new RTXs, but, and I say a big but with this, all depends what the price point is. Because I think
£1 billion.
Because NVIDIA are very much, I think they're now more valuable. NVIDIA are now the most valuable company in the world. I think they've overtaken Apple. And I think they kind of feel that they've got a bit of a monopoly in the GPU market. So I think they're going to put them out at stupid prices.
Right. Well, they usually do.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I probably, because I've got a 3080 at the moment in my PC, so I've kind of skipped the 4000 generation. I don't know whether I'll go for a 5070 or a 5080, but I think they're going to be quite a big step up in power, certainly over the 30 series. So quite looking forward to those. But again, if I've just moved house and I have no money and I really like having 2 kidneys, probably won't be able to do the upgrade immediately. But
that's what you're selling the house for.
Yes, it is. But I'm moving into a shed. I'm going to plow all of the equity from where I'm living at the moment into buying a single graphics card. My wife will be
Nice.
very pleased with this situation, I can guarantee.
Ah, sell her too. Get yourself a new Nintendo while you're at it.
Don't mind like that. That's not how marriage works, Coleman. I'm sorry. You've got an idea. I think you've got an idea of how marriage works circa 1200 is what I think.
Maybe that's how marriage works in Egypt. Pa, pa, pa.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's talk Sega.
Please.
So this was one that was meant to be a bit of a PSA, but unfortunately the time has run out for us. Over 60 classic Sega games, including Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe, Jet Set Radio, have all been delisted from digital stores.
No.
This was a thing that when they announced it, it was, hey, this is going to happen in a couple of days. Now it's happened, unfortunately. If you've bought any of these games, then you still have access to your purchase, but you cannot purchase them anymore. I think in case of Crazy Taxi...
Did they give any idea why? Because I can understand something like Crazy Taxi, it might be like kind of soundtrack issues or licensing issues, but like...
Well, that's the thing. Crazy Taxi, the version of Crazy Taxi now, I don't think it has any of the original soundtrack left in it. Every time they release it, they take something out, be that the Pizza Hut commercials and then the Offspring soundtrack. And I think the only way to get the full experience of that game is to play the arcade version. Every single release, including Dreamcast, always has something taken out each time it gets released. So yeah, maybe in case of Crazy Taxi, it's not the worst thing in the world, but the other things for sure. I'm glad I picked up a copy of Jet Set Radio on Steam before that got taken away. However, any copies of the games that are available on the Nintendo Switch Online are still available through the subscription, but anything that you could purchase outright, that's been taken away and they've not explained why.
That's really random. That is really random.
I'm wondering if Sega's going to do some kind of subscription-based, play all our games for the low price of $9.99 a month or something.
Yeah, I can maybe see that, because I mean, certainly like access to their full-on arcade back catalogue would be pretty sweet. I have to say that would be really cool if you just have all you can eat from that for a low monthly fee. I could see that appealing to some people, but yeah, it seems just a very random move to me. So maybe you're right. Maybe they're planning something down the road.
Sega have a long history of doing very odd and random moves, which seems like in their heads it's going to make them a lot of money in some way, shape, or form, but it never quite pans out.
Like the Sega Saturn, for example.
Like the Sega Saturn or the Dreamcast. I don't know if you remember, there was a period where mobile gaming was becoming a bigger thing, and Sega went, okay, we're going to take off any ports of our games off of digital stores on mobile phones, and then we're going to re-release them for free, but they're going to be absolutely swamped in adverts to generate revenue, and then you have to purchase them to buy a pretty shonky port on your mobile phone as well. They've got a habit of doing things like this.
But the main thing is you sound like you've got over it, Coleman. So that
I mean, I've got my emulator Game Boy that will play all the Sega classic games.
You wouldn't steal a car, Coleman.
I'm not playing the music.
No? Aw.
No. I think I've bought these games enough times in the past to justify the downloading. Okay, let's move on. Lastly, I thought this was quite a little bit of a hurrah this week. We're not in the space of Roblox. We are not big fans of child endangerment or using them as very cheap labor in some cases.
Why do we live in a world where that's a disclaimer where we have to say we're against indenturing young adults and teenagers into
I never want to
online
assume.
Servitude.
You never want to assume.
Christ.
I'm pro child endangerment.
Wow.
Anywho, yeah, Roblox, they made a pretty big announcement this week, and this is following on a few pretty hefty reports we've had this year. But they are now banning social hangouts for children under the ages of 13, which is good because there have been, I don't know if you know about it, Stan, there have been a lot of reports about problems with kids on the platform. I heard there was
13,316 of the suckers is what I heard.
Yeah, Bloomberg back in July, they released a report where they said that there was 13,316 instances of child exploitation reported on in Roblox in 2023 alone, and that 24 people had been arrested for abusing minors following contact
Jesus.
in Roblox. Yeah, and there was the whole thing where I forget the name of the guys. They do the big kind of documentaries on YouTube, but they did a whole thing into the business practices of Roblox and how children are exploited for creating levels and content for a pittance compared to what they would actually make if they were doing it professionally. And there's all these kind of things as well. But then following on from the Bloomberg report, there was a short-selling firm, Hindenburg Research. They published further examples designed to highlight Roblox's failure to keep children safe. In the report, they labeled the platform as an X-rated pedophile hellscape, rife with grooming, pornography, violent content, and extremely abusive speech.
Wow.
So basically the proto TikTok. What was it called? Musical.ly.
Wow.
So maybe getting kids off your platform is a good idea.
Jesus. I mean, the extremely abusive speech could just be the 13-year-olds. Let's not.
It could be.
Let's put a little bit of perspective into that.
Speaking of GTA
that
Online,
bit could just be the 13-year-olds. But no, I mean, I think it's kind of. I do think it's good that a little bit not just a little bit, that responsibility is being kind of laid at the feet of Roblox on this, because if it is, they're putting it as a place for kids to interact with one another. They do have a duty of care. I think keep those kids safe. I mean, I find the whole character design in Roblox creepy anyway, let alone everything else that's going on in there. So I'd avoid it like the plague.
Roblox. It's like Fortnite to me. It just perplexes me. I don't understand it. I don't want to. It's a far corner of the internet where news will come of it, something will happen, and I'll go, oh yeah, that thing. And don't really know too much. They just look like
knockoff version of Lego people, I think.
They do. Hench Lego.
Yes. Hench Lego. That's what Roblox shall forthwith be known as Hench Lego.
I like it. We should make that stick. All right, that's all the news we got time for. Shall we?
Wow, this might be a record short show, I think, because we are romping through stuff without Tim in.
I mean, I could play with the soundboard a bit if you want.
No, we're fine. We are absolutely fine. No, come on. No, don't do it. No. Leave it. Leave it.
What if I found like Tim noises?
Well,
what about one
basically?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I suppose we could probably just start getting to all the bits and bobs that we like to do. But first of which, of course, is your weekly reminder to go to tpublic.com/stores/BRB and buy things with my face on them. Please do that. Things with my face. This face, your shirt. That's a beautiful, beautiful combination that can be a thing in your life, which very few people are taking us up on the offer of making a reality, admittedly. But hey, probably got more to do with my face than anything else. And, of course, there are actually some brilliant designs out there, like a friend of the show, Bleezy. He did some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things. And you can put them on a T-shirt, and you should buy them and make everybody happy. That's what you should do. All of those.
You could buy Dan's face on a shirt, go to the club. You could meet a young lady and be like, hey, you, me, your room, Dan's face on the floor, you've pulled.
Oh, Jesus. I've just got an image. There's me lying on the floor going, ah!
Yeah. 30% of the time, Dan, works every time.
Mm-hmm. And Tim's not here, of course, to extol the virtues of Tuesday being a Tuesday and doing things on tabletops on a Tuesday. But this week there is a feature game called the Chameleon, I understand.
Oh.
Here endeth the information dump, because that's all the information we have been given.
Oh, he's put it on I missed that completely. Yes, each and every Tuesday at Tabletop Tuesday over in the Loading Bar in Stoke, Newington, we play games. We play tabletop games. Sometimes we have games to give away. Sometimes we do social deduction weeks and all that kind of stuff. But this week it is the Chameleon. We have no idea what the Chameleon is, but I'm sure it's a very good game. And if you play the featured game, you get entered into a raffle. And at the end of the night, you might win a copy to take home with yourselves. How's that for a bargain?
That sounds like a chuffing great bargain to me, Coleman.
I thought so. So get yourself down this Tuesday to Loading Bar in Stoke, Newington. to Tabletop Tuesday. More information is available on bigredbarrel.com. There's a
Where?
nice little ad in the bigredbarrel.com. There's a nice little banner ad. bigredbarrel.com. The
There
new
we
and
go.
improved bigredbarrel.com. You can go there and you can check out more information on Tabletop Tuesday by clicking the banner ad.
Actually, there has been a great public service announcement coming through chat that is very important for me to remind people. You can exponentially increase your chances of winning a copy of the game if you go up to Tim, sidle up to him, look him in the eye, whisper, you're my big tabletop boy, and then
Pretty good.
stroke his thigh. It will double the chances.
He told me that was definitely a thing that he said.
He
said, I definitely said that
loves
to
it
Dan.
when people do that.
If anyone
Absolutely
questions
loves
it, I definitely said that. That's what he said.
Yep. So
And
just
he's
a
not here
top
to
tip,
argue
if you want to win a copy of the Chameleon, you can double your chances by doing that.
You know
He
what
loves
else you
it.
should do, Dan?
What else should I do?
You should go to the new and improved bigredbarrel.com. Over there, we host this here podcast. Bigredbarrel.com. I'm not doing it again, Dan. You can check out this here podcast. You can check out VRB and anything else that we may publish in podcast form. Future stuff, who knows? And we've got written content. This week, we've got brilliant content. There are reviews of the single-player and multiplayer versions of Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and also the Pokemon trading card game collectible pocket edition, whatever they called it. It's stupidly addictive. I don't even play the battles in that game. I just open packs and look at the cards because I am a child. Big monster of a child.
Oh,
Tell
look
me
at
about
when
the
they're
rabbit.
shiny.
Tell me
Is
about
that
the
pretty
rabbits,
much it?
Dan. Yeah, that's
Look
pretty
at when
much
they're
it.
shiny.
Do you know what?
What?
Kev spoke about Pokemon last week.
Uh-oh.
There are these special cards you can get that are really, really cool, right? Because you've got shinies, right?
You do
You've
have
got
the
the
shiny.
EX cards and all that. You can get these special cards. So I've got this Pokemon, this Pikachu EX, and it's like a Pikachu chilling in a forest. And then all of a sudden, it zooms in on the card, the borders disappear, and then it's like looking around this little landscape of different Pokemon frolicking in a forest. And it was really cute and adorable, and I liked it.
Good.
Pokemon, Dan.
Yes.
What do they taste
How old
like?
are you?
40, Dan.
There we go. Good. Just
40 years old.
Jamie
yes,
wants you
Jamie,
to
I will
wonder
add you
pick
after
him.
the show.
wants you to wonder pick him. That doesn't sound now. If that doesn't sound like doing something inappropriate on the internet,
I will
that's the,
wonder
do I
pick
need
you,
to
my
get?
friend.
Do I need to party like it's 1994 and get on this Pokemon shizdizzle?
I would. I think it's a fun little, like a time waster thing to do on your phone. You just kind of set it, you leave it, you forget it, you come back and go, oh yeah, open some blind packs, and it's cute and adorable. If you get that kind of dopamine rush from that sort of thing, like I do. I did see a report today where someone worked out if you wanted to get the current collection of Pokemon cards that are available and not spend any money, it will take you just over 2 years of opening cards.
Woo!
Every day, twice a day.
Bring it
So
on.
that was
That's a
funny.
lot of time on the toilet.
I know
taking
people
care
that
of.
have got a longer Duolingo streak, so I don't think it's
Wow.
unfeasible.
That
All
is
right,
the
and
sound,
as well,
that is the sound of me getting Pokemon Go, Pokemon collectible card game Pocket. There we go.
well, while you go get Pokemon collectible card game, trading card game Pocket TCG
Yep.
on your iPhone, go do that. I will tell you that as well as bigredbarrel.com, we've got links to our social media accounts you can find on there. We're on X, we're on Threads, we're on Facebook,
What?
we're on
Where?
Twitch at Big
Huh.
Red Barrel. We're also
What?
on YouTube, which you might be watching us on right now. If you're not, then you should watch us on YouTube because we live stream on there as well as Twitch. And our finished versions of the podcast go out on there. You can find us on Big Red Barrel, on YouTube at Big Red Barrel TV. We, of course, if you like and comment, then that will help us in the algorithm. But also, if you subscribe, you should get notified of when we are doing live streams like this, so you can watch us
Yes.
live. If not, then, the live stream, it goes into private. Well, not private. It goes into unlisted, so it's still available if you have a link to it. But a new edited special version will go out that sounds much nicer and looks much nicer. In the case of last
Ooh.
week, a lot of work went in to make it look and sound much nicer. So one day I'll put an example of all the work that goes into that. Yeah, not today because it requires me doing some work to do it.
Can I just say that something feels wrong about having to put in your month and year of birth on a Pokemon game and scroll as far back as 1979. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to put that out there. Makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong.
It is funny going backwards to your year of birth because, like, in the early days of doing it, it's like, oh, that was okay. And now it's like scroll, 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 scroll.
You know, I moved up a new tick box on questionnaires this birthday. It's very depressing when that happens.
I love it.
I'm no longer in the to 44 group. Very bad.
Find our social links on bigredbarrel.com, but also you can find them in the show notes of this here episode. Whatever platform you're listening to us on, just scroll down. We will have it available there for you to check us out. Make sure you follow us, talk to us, do that stuff.
Where?
And also, there's a link on our Discord on bigredbarrel.com. You can go, and also in the show notes, you can go to our Discord. There is an invite link there ready to go. Just follow us, jump in, talk to us, leave us questions for the show if you like. You can click to find us, or you can try and decipher what Dan is going to say when he tries to read out the URL verbatim as such.
It is discord.com/invite/Munzuhafwa. Munzuhafwa. Discord.com/invite/Munzuhafwa. Munzuhafwa.
Yes.
It's easy to remember. Just trips off the tongue.
What a wonderful phrase.
It is a wonderful, wonderful phrase.
Okay. Shall we go to the questions, Dan?
I think let's go to the questions. I'm trying to use my face to sign into something.
Okay, we've only got two. This week, it's Ed! He says, which video game character would do the best job of redacted the new president? Now, I'm not sure what redacted means.
It can be any verb of your choice, I think.
I believe he means becoming the new president of the United States of America. Right. So in that instance, I would have to say Duke Nukem, because in keeping in the Republican candidates, I believe he would make a very good Republican candidate. Slot right in there at the moment, you know. And if America gets attacked by aliens, then he's your guy to defend the United States of America. Right. Bow down and kiss the ring.
Mike Hagger. He's gone from mayor to president. He has. It's a meteoric rise up the slippery slope of local government to the big house, the big White House. And I would beseech him to stick to his policy of not wearing a shirt, because I think that would be make for amazing photo ops at things like the G7. It'd just be incredible. The one thing I would urge Donald Trump not to do is to do that. I don't want to see his sweaty orange man boobs.
That's why he's got Hulk Hogan doing his campaign trails and stuff.
Jesus. The best bit was, though, that he couldn't actually he's too old and feeble to get his shirt off now.
That's happened a few times in his career, but it is funny. When they try to shoot my hero. Very funny. And also, keeping up with the video game related questions, Pensive Games asks, what's your favorite cheese and why?
Ooh, now this is a good question.
Do you need a moment?
I promise as I've got older, I've become a little lactose intolerant. But there are some cheeses which I will roll the brown touch paper coated dice and enjoy.
Ooh.
Yeah, I will risk it for a good bit of Stilton. What I will do. I'll risk it all. I'll risk sneezing and pooping myself at the same time.
Did we just become best friends, Dan?
We did just become best friends. Is Stilton
I was going to say Stilton.
Yeah, we go.
Stilton, because it pairs the best with port, and I love a glass of port and some cheese.
Yes, now port is underrated as well. Although a good mature cheddar that kind of has little crystals in it, also very nice. But Stilton is where it's at.
I quite like a Wensleydale Stilton if I need something a bit milder as well.
You see, and with Christmas round the corner, you get your Wensleydale with all the fruit in, which is always fun times.
Yeah, that's it. Wensleydale cranberry. That's the one.
Oh yeah,
Cut
actually,
that into cubes. Put it in your salad. Use it as an alternative to feta.
Hey, I am going to be impressing the neighbours with my cheddar cheese, glacé cherry, and pineapple based combo, because that's how I roll. I roll like it's
Ooh.
1988, mofo's. That's what I do.
Come on, guys. We're all going to Slough. Dan's feeding us cheese, baby.
Yeah, I am. Although in Slough, the cheese you get is like Primula. It's like you just kind of just squeeze it in your mouth. Really, is what happens.
Delicious.
Yeah. Delicious,
Do like brie as
delicious
well.
cheese.
Who doesn't like a bit of brie?
It can be a bit samey. Why are we talking? Why are we have a go at Tim for talking about menus, and we just spent 3 minutes talking about cheese.
Because, Dan, we've not hit an hour yet, and I thought we could just waste some time talking about cheese.
Just vamp for time. Jamie asks if I'm playing Destiny with him on Sunday. Most probably, I would say.
My go-to, if I've got people staying over for breakfast. Nice little
Are we doubling down on this, are we? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Wait for this. Right. Get some lovely fresh-baked croissants. Slice a croissant in two. Put a nice...
I am going to take mild umbrage with your pronunciation of the word croissant, by the way.
Croissant.
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 Right.
Croissant.
Okay.
Slice it in two. Little bit of time in the oven. Couple of slivers of brie over it. Back in the oven. Little bit of raspberry conserve over there. And then eat that bad boy up. That is a delicious breakfast to impress people that doesn't actually take a lot of effort. Applewood. Smash Soul says Applewood. You know what that's good for? Stick that in your mac and cheese, baby. Mix up some cheeses. Applewood's in there.
I'm now Googling cheese.
Go on then.
Cheese Expert's Guide to 10 Essential Cheeses. If only we wouldn't get a copyright strike at the moment, I'd say, all right, Coleman, bring in the Top of the Pops music, but I think we're probably
Governor Mitch says, surely a bitty, sweat-inducing mature cheddar.
See, good mature cheddar is underrated. It is very underrated.
Nice, tasty, extra mature.
I do kind of quite like a bit of goat's cheese as well. People don't like the thought of stuff being squeezed out of a goaty teat, but I don't mind it.
Goat's cheese on a burger.
Oh, now we're talking.
It works. It works. You won't go back.
Do you know what's rubbish? Do you know what is rubbish?
Yeah.
Vegan cheese. Not cheese.
Never tried it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, without going into my own personal health problems too much, when you are a little bit on the lactose intolerant side, you can't fully embrace the cheesy goodness 24/7 like you used to when you were a young whippersnapper. So I've had to resort to the vegan cheese sometimes. It gets very sweaty sometimes. Very sweaty. Don't like sweaty cheese. No one likes.
I think for the edited show, I'm going to have to find some cheese music of some description.
Now I'm disappeared down a rabbit hole looking at cheese, and I'm now
he's downloading
very hungry.
Pokemon. He's looking up cheese.
Oh,
this
God.
man, he's not had his ADHD medication this week. He is on all the extra distractions this week. Look at him go. Dan, back in the room.
What?
Come back. Come back to us, Dan.
What? Oh, pigs in blankets cheese. Not sure about flavoured cheese. Do you know my stepsister actually had at her wedding an entire wedding cake made out of cheese?
My friend Andrew did that. It was really good. He had a wedding cake and then he had like
happening the
a
following
big
morning.
cheese thing. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. Dan, we have to go.
Okay, we've got to go. We've hit that hour. You threatened it. You're like, all right, let's vamp. And then look what happened. Right, we are going to go. Thank you so much for listening to this drivel. We do appreciate it. Tim's going to be back next week, so you can replace the talk about cheese with menus and VR or something like that. We shall be back next week with new stuff to talk about, doubtless. As we start wrapping, it's kind of feeling like it's the last hurrah of video game releases of the year as well. So I think still a couple more.
Just Indiana Jones left, baby.
It is. You're right.
Looking forward to it.
When's that out? Is that out next week?
December the 9th, I think.
Got a while yet then.
Yeah, that might have to go in the next year's Game of the Years for the.
Yeah, I've got quite a
sake
pile of shame to
making
work
shows.
my way through at the moment. I've got.
Well, we got to sort our end of year shows out.
Yeah,
got an
we do.
exciting one in the works.
Have you?
I'm genuinely excited about one of our end of year shows.
Wow. That doesn't happen often. Are you feeling all right?
Something
Yeah.
cool. We'll
Yeah.
spoke about it offline. It's gonna be fun.
Well, we're going to go.
Stalker
then.
2 as well.
Yes.
Stalker 2 as well. Yeah, there you go.
Yes. We are going to leave it to it. Thank you for tuning in if you're seeing this live. Thank you for downloading us if you're listening to us not so live. And we will be back very soon next time. All that's really left is to remind me that I've been Dan. I've been Dan. Well remembered, Dan. Well done, Dan. Very good. I'm just thinking about cheese. I'm very distracted. Who have you been?
I've been the man who reminds you what cheese you use to disguise a small horse.
Mascarpone.
Mascarpone. Governor Mitch says cheese and pineapple ring. That is the
No,
wrong.
that doesn't work. You're never gonna
Governor Mitch
hide
says,
a horse behind
get the Black Forest Gatto out.
that. Jeez.
Mm.
Sarah says, I'm Dan McCheeseface. Thanks.
We have to go.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next time. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
Cathedral City! Cathedral City of Pins and Growth!
You and your ears are quite welcome.
For the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
To BigRedBarrel.com.
for more podcasts?
News, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet. BigRedBarrel.com.
Everyone should
It
play
is
that new
time.
Pokemon TCG game on phones. It's great.
I
Do
did.
it.
Oh, okay.
I did. I haven't got through the tutorial of battling yet. But
It's the first time I've killed my massive battery on my iPhone 14 Max ever.
Know where that sentence was going to go.